Hello and welcome back to Invincible Asia. I'm George Clark and today I get to check out the new Blu-ray release of Long Arm of the Law 1 and 2 from Idiot Films. Don't forget folks, before we go any further, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, like the video and all that jibber jabber, and thank you very much for supporting Invincible Asia. So here it is, finally in my hands, better late than never I suppose. Should have had it over a week ago. I always champion how you should order direct from Idiot Films. You're usually guaranteed to get it well before its release date, at least a week before, sometimes on time for its release date. But this is a good 4 or 5 days late. And they said there was some confusion to delivery dates, but I finally managed to get on it. Some of us have a programming schedule to keep up here, you know. We like to create this content on time for our viewers, Idiot Films, and things like this don't really help. You know, if you'd let me get in there early and see things to be able to review them to help promote, that wouldn't be a bad thing either. But you know what? Let's get stuck into it. Here we go. More gorgeous, gorgeous artwork from Sean Longmore. This I have been dying for, and I really, really hope that there's a poster in here with Sean's artwork, because Idiot haven't really been playing ball lately, have they? They've been letting us down with a few things. And I'm really, the fingers are crossed for sure that there has to be a poster in here with this artwork. There has to be. It's just too phenomenal not to have. The other thing I'm going to be straight up disappointed with is that parts 3 and 4 are not included in this. Now, when I did a video earlier in the year, I think top 15 Hong Kong trilogies and sagas that Idiot Films should release as a deluxe edition. And part one of those was Long Arm of the Law, of course, parts 1 to 4. The other was Inspectors Wear Skirts, for example, which they're going to be releasing, and they seem to be releasing in single films, which is unfortunate, but I'm just hoping they don't stop at part 2 and they continue that. Why they didn't include part 3 and 4, I don't know. Again, perhaps it was a rights issue. The only Long Arm of the Law movie I've ever seen is part 4 here, Underground Express. Now, this was the last of the bunch, I believe, and directed by Michael Mack. So of course the first one here is directed by Johnny Mack, who went on to pretty much write and produce the rest, with his brother Michael taking over the sequels. Philip Chan, of course, creates a fantastic screenplay for part 1, also writes part 2 there. But Johnny would go on to become quite a prolific producer, which is wonderful. I've never seen them, I've heard lots about them, I've seen trailers, of course, and they've always been on my radar. So whenever Idiot Films did announce that they were going to be putting this out there, especially with Sean's artwork on there, I was just super excited. But when I saw that it was only parts 1 and 2, I was a wee bit let down. I really hope they are going to follow up with the second box set with parts 3 and 4, because this here, I mean, there's not even a book or anything in here so far. It's thinner than the re-release there, the deluxe edition of Battle Creek Brawl, which is quite disappointing. But anyway, let's get stuck in. I'll share this with you one more time because I can't get enough of it. And then I'm going to share with you on the back here what is included in this double set of Long Arm of the Law. So with part 1 from 1984, we have got stunning new 2K restoration in 1.85.1 aspect ratio of the Hong Kong cut, which is Cantonese with English subtitles, and the export cut, which has an English dub. The let's see, the Hong Kong cut is 106 minutes and the export cut 105 minutes, missing a minute, probably with violence. Audio commentary by Hong Kong film expert Frank Jiang on the Hong Kong cut, family business, an interview with Michael Mack. Then we have From Hong Kong Police to Big Circle Gangs, an interview with scriptwriter Philip Chan, a conversation with action director Billy Chan and scriptwriter Philip Chan, an interview with Johnny Mack, and a theatrical trailer. That's pretty cool. There's quite a lot on there to enjoy in the first disc. I'm very happy with that. Then we have Long Arm of the Law Saga 2, 1987. So 3 years between the first and the second. And you notice there is a change there. I do notice it myself from the trailers. There seems to be quite a change in direction. That obviously is down to Michael Mack taking over. I'm not saying he's a better director as such, but you can see quite a difference there. Part 3 would follow up with Andy Lau, 1989, and then Underground Express would obviously follow that. So with disc 2, we have a stunning new 2K restoration, 1.85:1 aspect ratio of the Hong Kong cut, Cantonese with English subtitles, and the export cut with English dub. Hong Kong cut at 90 minutes, export cut at 87 minutes. Then we have an interview with director Michael Mack. Man of Action, an interview with co-star Ben Lam. Of course, the wonderful Ben Lam from any amount of movies, and also one of the earlier members of the Jackie Chan stunt team. An Offer You Can't Refuse, an interview with scriptwriter Philip Chan, perhaps continuing on from his interview in part 1 there. The Iron Fist of Crime, an interview with stuntman Stephen Chan, Hong Kong trailer, and an English trailer. Fantastic. Really excited to see that these are finally getting a Blu-ray release here in the UK and Ireland. It's just wonderful. Incredible movies. I just wish it was the complete set. Get over it, George. Part 1 there, I just noticed, caught his name again there, is also produced by Sammo Hung under the Boho Films banner, who also helps with the action. The Sammo Hung stunt team and Billy Chan also work the action on that, and I'm really excited to see this in its 2K restoration. Okay, let's slide these out here and get a peek at what's in it. Beautiful. Reminds me very much of the In the Line of Duty US release from 88 Films, and the Tiger Cage set as well. Very, very nice. I'll take one at a time, starting with the first, of course. Hopefully there's not too much reflection here, but I am going to pull it out of the case. Loving the black case, of course. It is just fecking gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Region A and B, so this is obviously being put out across the UK and the US, which is wonderful. I think they should be doing that with everything. And inside, no poster as yet, but we do have a book there. So here we have the inside, which is kind of cool. I'm excited enough for that. And here we have this stunning, stunning artwork from Sean Longmore, which is just incredible. And on the other side, some Hong Kong art. But I'm not going to be swapping that around because this is just tremendous. Absolutely beautiful. Inside with the first one here, Red Guards in Hong Kong. I think it's also known as Hong Kong Vice somewhere along the lines. So this is the front. Oh, sliding off, sorry folks. Sliding off my knee. The front and then on the back. I like this old style. They've kept this kind of old Hong Kong artwork style, which is nice. The lightning robbery across the border was to be the answer to their dreams. Instead, it was the beginning of a nightmare. It's kind of like how all 4 movies roll. It's like that Chinese criminal gang coming to Hong Kong and clashing with the Hong Kong police. But there we have it. Very much an unknown cast for this first one, I do believe. You've got David Lam Wai, of course, there from Project A2, the Chinese Ghost Story, gosh, any amount of films. He was in tons of Shaw Brothers movies. So he is a very, very popular actor and a very recognizable face. Loving the Thai artwork there. That is fabulous. Wow. Very excited. Smell that newness from this book. Oh, you can smell it. I can smell it. When you get your copy, take a whiff of your book. You'll know what I mean. Smell-O-Vision just hasn't hit my YouTube channel as yet. There's a tit. This looks fantastic. I mean, I've been dying to see this for so long. I'm already kind of holding it in high regards, but I know I'm not going to be disappointed. Absolutely not. It usually kind of ranks within the top 10 of any Hong Kong top 100 films. which is a great sign, and was nominated for an absolute run of awards at the Hong Kong Film Awards and the Golden Horse Awards, I do believe, also upon its release. So that's a great sign, and that's a gorgeous book. Right, popping that back in, and then I can get out disc 2 here. Oh, wow. Of course, then the cast changes here. We've got Ben Lam. I don't think he's back as the same character, nearly sure. I think they're only connected by title only. Got who Elvis Choi is joining the cast there. Yoon Yat Chor is there. A whole mix. Alex Mann, I think that is. So this is going to be a totally different experience, I think, to the first one altogether. I think the first one definitely is going to have more grittiness. And it is kind of deemed... I see a poster. It is kind of deemed as one of the first heroic bloodshed kind of movies that I guess would have really inspired John Woo and those that followed to create that line of movies of A Better Tomorrow and The Killer and so on that were to follow a few years after. Fantastic. Oh, this is just stunning. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful work, Sean. Absolutely fucking gorgeous as always. And the Hong Kong side, which again, I'm not keeping because I just love Sean's stuff far too much to flip that round and hide it. Okay, let me get this poster out because I am very happy that they have put a poster in there. I'm going to try and open this with the Hong Kong side first so I don't get too disappointed. But here we have. That's not bad. I mean, it's not a terrible poster by any means. It still looks fantastic. Still happy enough with it. Would I put it in a frame though? I don't know. Gonna flip it round though, and for fuck's sake. Like, seriously, 88 Films, in the name of fuck, would it have killed you to put a double-sided poster of Sean's work? Or maybe just, you know, part 1 with Sean's artwork and a second poster with part 2? Like, seriously? I mean, they're really starting to drop in my grade here, really. Okay, that's about all I've got to show you. Fucking disappointed in that. I really thought I was getting this for my wall. Highly disappointed there. Okay, I'm going to slide that back in here. Then I am going to go watch as much of this as I possibly can. Hopefully to get it out to you before the weekend. Of course, going to follow that up with a video retrospective on Long Arm of the Law. Anyway, going to be back soon to let you know what I think. So, just back after checking out the 88 Films Blu-ray release of Long Arm of the Law, Part 1 and 2. And wow, I mean, for first time watches, these movies were absolutely incredible. I'm actually still torn as to which one I preferred, if I'm being honest. Two very, very different movies, two very differently made movies. The first, though, was certainly something else. It was very, very gritty, had this kind of docudrama feel about it. Very realistic in its approach, and that's what I liked. There was an independent kind of feel to that. Reminded me a lot of, is it Alex Chung's Cops and Robbers? Or even Johnny To and Andrew Cam's The Big Heat. It had that same kind of flavour to it, which I really, really loved. The 2K restoration, absolutely stunning. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. 88 have done an amazing job with this release, but the print was fucking incredible. You on both cuts of the movie, you will not be disappointed. There's a few certain scenes that kind of offer a different frame rate as such. That was down to the filming of it, the production itself, not down to the restoration, but it blew me away. Everything about this was wonderful, honestly. The audio commentary from Frank Jiang, very, very cool to listen to, great fun, and very informative, of course. And then you had an interview with Michael Mack, who obviously worked on the first film. His brother Johnny directed it. Michael then would go on to take over directorial duties for parts 2, 3, and 4. But an interview with Michael Mack, pretty cool to listen to. Once again, revealed a lot of secrets about the shoot. Some really, really cool insights to the making of the movie, and especially their 8-camera shoot during the scene out in the streets when the criminals are being chased by the cops through the streets, and all the setup, how he talks about how that was executed as such. It was brilliant. That runs for just over 16 minutes in length. Then you have an interview with screenwriter Philip Chan, who of course, as I said before, you will recognize from many movies. 1960s policeman turned writer, director and actor. He is fantastic. Delivers his whole interview in English. Wonderful man, just very, very interesting man. Seems like a genuinely positive guy to be around. His interview, gosh, it ran for quite a long time. I'd say just under 29 minutes, I think, in length. It was well worth listening to. Really, really enjoyed it. And part of that does carry into the second disc, which I will get to, of course. Then you had a conversation, a separate conversation with him and Billy Chan, like an interview conversation. This was fantastic. Love this as an extra piece. It's just them two sitting in a coffee shop. Obviously, whoever's interviewing them, talking with them there. It runs for about 37 minutes in total. But again, fascinating to hear their stories, looking back on the production, filmmaking in general, but just to be able to sort of take, these are two people that you don't really see a lot of or hear a lot about as such. It's always very much spaced on the A-listers and directors whenever it comes down to the making of movies. These guys are definitely worth listening to. They have a lot to tell you and a lot that they can share with you on how Long Arm of the Law was brought together. Of course, there's some intense action scenes throughout that. Not as much as I had hoped for, but definitely a lot of intense action scenes and stunt work, courtesy of Billy Chan and the Sammo Hung stunt team, who Billy was a part of. Then you have an archival interview with Johnny Mac, with the director Johnny Mac. Not too sure where it's taken from that makes it an archival piece. But again, very, very cool to listen to. It was probably about 9 minutes. I know it was under 10 minutes in length. But again, very, very good. Listening to him talk about where the movie came about, his kind of short career before he got into that, the television work. 'Cause I know him and Philip had worked in television together. But yeah, just another fantastic addition to this first disc. And then you've got the original trailer on there, which runs for probably just under 5 minutes. It's actually quite a lengthy trailer, but it's pretty cool to see. It does give a lot away, of course. And it's still a very good quality, but not as restored as the film. So even if you watch that first and then jump into that movie, to that 2K restoration, it will blow you away. It is fan-friggin-tastic. Absolutely loved it. And then we have Long Arm of the Law Saga 2. Again, the menu is graced with Sean Longmore's artwork, which is pretty cool. I still can't get over what he does with these things here. As with Idiot's film releases of lately, of their Blu-ray releases, it does have that search bar that pops up, which I quite dislike. Again, this, I'm going to be honest, straight up, this second disc here, this part 2 of Long Arm of the Law, has to be genuinely probably one of my all-time favourite restorations and releases from Idiot Films. I mean, kudos to the guys, have done an amazing job with this film. It was fucking stunning. I just was in awe at it. That was all down to, of course, Johnny Coe's cinematography as well. He returns from part 1, but with this, now they're backed by Golden Harvest. The budget's a bit bigger there. Things have changed. Michael Mack is now directing. There just seemed to be something quite different about this movie, and I really don't know which one I preferred the best. There was something different from each of them. But this just felt like more like an In the Line of Duty kind of style movie, but even better made than that, I have to say. But the quality, holy shit, that restoration was stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. There's a particular scene there where Alex Mann gets pulled out of a car and beat up in the rain. Fuck me. I mean, this looks like it was made yesterday. That is how good this restoration is. The colors, the detail, the sharpness, everything about that. It was so beautifully done. I can't get enough of it. I'm going to go and watch it again. Trust me. I did watch it twice, of course. Once with the Hong Kong version. in its original language version with English subtitles, and again with Frank Jang doing his audio commentary, which again very, very interesting to listen to, quite informative, and definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the movie production itself. You have then a director interview with Michael Mack. This time much longer because, you know, now it's his film. He's a lot more he can talk about here. That runs for around 25 minutes in total. But again, fantastic. Seems to be a continuation from the first disc. But very, very informative. Definitely a lot of fun to listen to. And absolutely, you know, quite a different approach to what his brother would have had there with the first one. Then you have an interview with the brilliant Ben Lamb, who he gets somewhat of an upgrade in part 2. In part 1 he just cameos as a policeman in part 1. In part 2 here he is now one of the main characters of the story, along with Elvis Choi, who's amazing in this movie, and Yoon Yat Chor, who I like him. I've never really taken to, especially as kind of a leading man. He always annoys me in his movies, but he was something else in this. This was fantastic. The role that he plays here, just brilliant. Then so you have a Ben Lamb interview there, again talking about his career, getting into the film industry, working with Jackie Chan, things like that. Probably ran for, gosh, it was over 15 minutes, 16 minutes perhaps in length. Really, really cool to listen to. Definitely check that out there. Then you had a second interview with Philip Chan, or probably a third, but this one is continued from what I mentioned on the first disc, his bigger interview there. This is kind of a continuation of that, being called back to write the script for Long Arm of the Law 2, which he's quite open and honest about, that he kind of didn't really want to do it, but he did it anyway, and I'm kind of glad he did. Yeah, amazing man. But he does base, he based the first one off real events, real cases, and he did talk about looking back on some cases to inspire him for this one. That runs a bit shorter this time, probably about 8 minutes. So quite shorter, much shorter than his first interview. And then you have an interview with Stephen Chan, the Wing Chun master who plays the main bad guy in part 2 here. I haven't seen much of Stephen Chan in a long time, actually. So again, with the curse of film, people don't age in film until you see them again in an interview later on in years, and it does kind of shock you. He looks well, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't prepared for the guy that came on screen. Very, very good though. Delivered in English. Talks all about his career, of course, his Wing Chun, his career, and being the big baddie in Long Arm of the Law 2. But yes, very, very good. Probably ran for 23, 24 minutes. Kind of around that, 23 or 24 minutes, which was great. That was more than enough for someone that I haven't seen or heard from in some time now. Then you have 2 trailers on here. You've got the Hong Kong trailer for Long Arm of the Law 2, which is 3.5 minutes in length. Great to see that big Golden Harvest G coming up there, as it was at the start of the movie. And then you've got the English trailer, which runs for about 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes in length. Now, these are great to watch, but also worth seeing before you watch the movie, because the quality of these are unrestored. So watching those as to how it would have been on, let's say, a video or DVD, and then going into that restoration, fuck, it's going to blow your mind. Honest to God, there were certain moments of this movie that just had me on the edge of my seat, and it wasn't even through the adrenaline of an exciting action scene or anything, which the action is feckin' amazing in part 2, by the way, but it was just the visuals. The visuals alone. Johnny Coe does an incredible job with the cinematography here, and that restoration, as I say, from 88 has blown me away. Absolutely one of my favorite releases of 2023 from them. So yeah, everything pretty much covered there. One thing I didn't show you, if I remember correctly, was the back of the box. I always forget about peeling these things off, but here we have it. This is the back, and it kind of has the 3 main guys from part 2 and the 5 from the first movie. I do hope that 88 Films go down the road of releasing parts 3 and 4 in a double set like this. I will be more than happy with that, but if they just stop with these 2, I'm going to be pissed off. Out now from 88 Films. Absolutely super excited to have it in my collection. Double thumbs up and everything else, but yes, please get your hands on a copy as soon as possible. So thank you once again for watching another video here on Invincible Asia. Don't forget you can check out hundreds of others here on the channel. You can also show your continued support by heading over to my new merch store or by checking out invincibleasia.com, where you can read my full movie reviews and follow me on Instagram at InvincibleAsia. Until next time though, enjoy your Kung Fu and I will see you soon.